Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and you're going to want to stick around for the 3rd answer because it is a secret to exactly how you can get the advantages of the pros while avoiding the cons. So let's get into it. Today's question was, what are self-publishing on Amazon pros and cons? Now, this is a very good question that many people, when you're first getting started with Amazon publishing, you want to know, are there more pros than cons? Or maybe it's a bad deal. So we're trying to figure out whether or not it's worth getting started. And if so, what are the risks associated with going with Amazon? And there are definitely pros and cons involved with going on the Amazon platform. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com. Click the subscribe bell if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check below in the description and you will see my free self-publishing checklist to help you avoid common self-publishing mistakes. Well, let's get into it. So, what are self-publishing on Amazon pros and cons? Well, when I first started publishing, I discovered that mostly there were pros. I started with Amazon and I started publishing on Kindle, and I started through the process and I started learning how to make covers and how to format the books, and I would post them out there and then they would tell me, no, you did it wrong, and then send it back and then post it again, and back and forth we'd go. And then they would accept it, but then I would look at the copies and the books that I'd put out onto the network, on the platform, and they would still be poor quality. And so I needed to go over and over again in order to figure it all out. And for me, that was a bit of a con, okay? But once I figured out the pattern to how easy it can be when you break it down into simple steps, then it became no longer a con because I had overcome that particular issue. The other thing was, when I put the books onto the platform, I noticed I wasn't getting the sales that I would like to have gotten for those books. And so that was another issue that I was experiencing at the time. And I was able to overcome that particular one by running ads and other things like that. So what we can find is, at least from my own experience, was that there are definitely some cons that have to be overcome, but it wasn't particularly all that difficult to work through them as long as I'm making progress on a daily basis. So, what are self-publishing on Amazon pros and cons? Well, let's look at some of the answers. So the first is the ability, and this is the ability to make long-term income with relatively little effort. That's a serious pro compared to all other options available on the internet, from drop shipping to other places. That's a very, very big problem. Also, if you have a book on your heart that you want to get out into the world and want to let people read your story or read your ideas on a particular nonfiction topic, Amazon is a fantastic place to go. So you have such a huge, massive audience, the largest audience of readers in the world. They have their credit cards out. They're ready to buy your book, to read what your ideas are, assuming you can market it in a way that will make it presentable to them, that will tempt them to go about reading your book. And so this is also a pro. The cons are pretty huge, which are they can freeze your account with very little notice for violation of the terms without telling you what you did wrong. In fact, robots, they use their robots to scan what's going on, and if the robots identify some abnormalities with your account, they can give you a warning and within just a few days freeze the entire account. This is incredibly risky, and so you could literally see your income that's coming in through Amazon disappear in just a matter of days and nothing you can do about it. They can do forced arbitration. There's all sorts of things that Amazon will do that are very difficult to work through. So that is a high risk. The other, as I mentioned earlier, on the con front is there's a whole series of skills that you're going to need to learn eventually. But on the pro side, you can start very simple and for free with regards to how you're publishing as a pro. And as you build up your competency, the quality of the writing that you're doing will go through, and you will also start earning money that you can reinvest on buying better tools that will help you sell even more books. And so we're able to use this momentum to build up over time a library of books that we've published, and we're able to get the sales coming through on a daily basis for those books so that we're able to support even more books and eventually pulling in an income off of the books that we have published onto Amazon. But the con is definitely the case. There's a learning curve, and if you're not willing to put in a little bit of time every day, well, then this probably isn't the right strategy for you. But then again, where else on the internet can you earn money in such an easy fashion and then putting books onto Amazon? So you have to weigh out the pros and cons. But I would say the biggest con, like I mentioned on number 2, it was that they can freeze your account. And that brings us to our secret answer of the day. And that is that if you use only Amazon, you'll have a problem with your books being frozen if they choose to go that route against you. And so you want to make sure that all the work that you do, you can also put it onto sites like Lulu and Ingram Spark. And perhaps if you want to not go Amazon KDP Select, you can put your books through Smashwords and get them on a whole variety of networks. And so this gives you a large advantage, a huge advantage when you're trying to sell your books and have the income coming through multiple streams of revenue, so that if one of them were to freeze your account for whatever reason they might do that, you're still going to have income from the others. The other issue is they can freeze it if they find some abnormality, and they can delay paying you. That can also be a bit of a downer when you're trying to put your books out there and trying to get an income coming in through this particular means. It's a very passive way of getting income, but it's also vulnerable. So what are self-publishing on Amazon pros and cons? What have you found? Go ahead and let me know below in the comment section. I'd love to read and respond back to you with anything that you found regarding maybe some things that I haven't mentioned. And look up above me here for more answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.